Spit bars, I stand behind mine. Yeah. Sentences I serve, maximize guidelines. My lawyer can't give me his advice when these beasts that I murder carry mandatory minimums of life. Yikes. In case you didn't get the point, we spit bars.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of The Maximum Sentence, where there's conviction behind the bars. I'm your man, AJ Throwback. Great to be here with you on another awesome Wednesday, where we are finishing up our breakdown of my latest single, Chasing Maria. But before we go any further, if this is your first time checking out any of my content, please make sure that you like, comment, share, and of course, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Hit that bell notification so that whenever I go live, post a new video, premiere a new video, you'll be among the first to know. Now that we got that out of the way, let's get to some of these comments from our faithful Maximum Sentence supporters. Shout out to my brother T Witz, who had actually two comments, both on Instagram. This one was in response to the first video about Chasing Maria, where he says, "Those damn Sunday suits shaking my head." I'm telling you, man, that Sunday suit, you couldn't tell me nothing in it. But once I got to school, them kids told me differently. And probably Maria was thinking the same thing. So, I definitely appreciate that comment, as well as this other one. Now, this was in response to the last episode of The Maximum Sentence, where he said, "Wipe that drool off your mouth, fam." Said, yeah, she definitely a baddie. Talking about Teresa Randall. Yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? She was the it girl in the 90s, man. Definitely appreciate both of those comments, my brother. And then shout out to Youngie Underground on Instagram. My sis, she said, this is in response to the first video as well. She says, "Wise words, my man." And that comment is in response to a snippet that I posted from the first video, talking about if somebody is for you, they're for you. You can't force it, can't make them be for you if they're not. And I had to get this comment in at the last minute. This is from my sis Prowess the Testament. She says, "Laughing my ass off. I love this. I fell out at learning the dance moves from Rub You the Right Way. See, the funny thing is, nowadays, it's on par with the TikTok dances, LOL. You were ahead of your time, but back then, my lord." Yeah, it's funny how that ended up working out. Yeah. So I definitely appreciate that comment. And that the last episode was highly entertaining for a lot of people, I can tell. So definitely appreciate all of those comments. And please, folks, if you're watching this, please feel free to comment every single week. And if you don't have the song that they commenting on, Chasing Maria, my latest single, please make sure that you go to my website, BAMMLLC.net/music. You can get the song, you can connect to it from there, or you can go to your favorite streaming site, or you can go to my Bandcamp page. It's also there, ajthrowback.bandcamp.com. Once again, ajthrowback.bandcamp.com. And the single is also backed with Fashionably Late, featuring my homie Clutch the Rapper. So let's go ahead and get into this part of the third verse, which I feel like is the most important part of the song, period, because it really brings the entire theme of the song of chasing this girl, chasing the variation of this girl all of these years. This particular stretch of bars brings it all home.
But Miss G-O-I-N-G-S certified, I caught Maria, might have been some BS. A braggadocious swag, bloviated self, knowing I could bag and stroke a dash, how I hate myself. Feeling John title every time a pretty woman comes along. I treat her like a hooker, stuffing hunters in her thongs, and it's wrong. Besides, she might be out for Rodeo. Hit is in and make to be her out for Romeo.
All right, so let's start from the very beginning, where I say, but Mrs. G-O-I-N-G-S certified, I caught Maria, might have been some BS. So that part is important because you have to go back to a conversation that she and I had when I was discussing the song with her. And I remember where we were. We were actually in the ER in Holy Cross Hospital. And we were in the room. We were talking about the song. I was telling her about the music and everything. And I told her about the concept of the song. And I told her what the song was about. And she said, and I'm paraphrasing, of course, because you're talking 8 years ago. She said, "You know what? Maybe it's a good thing that you didn't catch her, because you could have very well been one of these guys out here who he gets the woman he wants. And, she's really pretty. She's really whatever. And it creates this entitlement. It creates this expectation that, okay, well, if I can get her, then I can get any woman I want." And, I'm a fairly confident guy anyway. But at the same time, I'm also a realistic guy. I'm also one of those type of guys that, because of my experiences with women, I have become the type of guy who says, you know what? If she's not feeling me, there's somebody else out here who will. It goes back to something my dad always told me, I'll never forget. He had a saying for this girl that I was trying to talk to in college. So I'm trying to talk to this girl, and I'm thinking she likes me. She's acting like she likes me, but then she's doing all this weirdo stuff. And it's like, you know, I have a conversation with my dad. This is like my first year of college. So I'm having this conversation with him. And I'm like, Dad, man, you know, and he's like, what's up, son? And I'm like, Dad, this is girl I really like at my school. And she act like she like me, but she faking. You know, she acting funny style or whatever. And so he's like, son, there's too many fish in the sea to be stuck on one stubborn tuna. And ever since that man told me that, this is 1998, that's something that has stuck with me for the last 24 years of my life. And that is my mantra. Now imagine if I hadn't had that trajectory of experience when it comes to women. And I would have had, say, the trajectory of talking 13 years before that comment, 1985. This girl that I have a crush on in kindergarten, and she actually returns the affection, or she actually returns the attention. And imagine if I get her, then it creates the expectation in my mind. Like I said, I get her, I can get anybody I want because I got her. And she was the baddest one on the whole playground. So what should make me think that I can't get somebody of that caliber or better? Because there are guys out here like that. That's the thing. There are guys out here like that. I mean, you know, a lot of them like the pretty boy dudes, obviously. But there's other dudes who are not necessarily pretty boys, but they have been used to or accustomed to getting a certain type of woman. And so because they get that caliber woman, every woman has to live up to that expectation. Or they just feel like, well, because you look this way and because I am who I am, you should just want to be with me anyway. You should just be attracted to me anyway. That's a terrible attitude to have. It's kind of like women out here who feel like they can have any man they want. And it's like, actually you can't. Nobody can have anybody they want. Nobody. Because everybody isn't designed for you. Everybody isn't made to be with you. And the bottom line is, you know what I mean? Just because you want somebody doesn't mean they want you in return. They might not like your personality. Just because you feel like you can get anybody you want. If you're a woman, feel like you get any man you want. If you're a man, feel like you can get any woman you want. People pick up on that energy and it ends up turning people off more than it turns them on. And so going back to the conversation I was having with my wife in the hospital back in 2014, that really provided some clarity to the whole situation and any situation that I went through after that, leading up to the point of marrying her, being with her. You know what I'm saying? She could have very well been the same way. I might not have been her cup of tea. You know what I mean? But I was. But the point is, it's a good thing that I was, I don't want to say necessarily humbled, but that it was made clear to me that, okay, you might not get her, but you can get plenty of other women who are beautiful inside and out. And the bottom line is, in my life, I'm gonna be honest, I can't really complain. You know what I'm saying? I'd have had my fair share of shooters, including the woman I married. You know, and that's just keeping it real. But on the flip side, not only could it have been a thing where I could have been the entitled one, because I mean, you gotta kind of sort of bust down the bars after that, where I say a braggadocious swag bloviated self. Full sense of self, you think you all that. Knowing I could baggage, stroke, and dash, I would hate myself. Knowing I could be the type of dude to get any woman I want and get her in bed or get her affection or get whatever I want from her and basically just kick her out. Like, knowing the type of dude I am, who I am now, I would hate myself for that, because I wouldn't feel like I'm being authentic. I wouldn't feel like I'm being a good person. And at the core of who I am, I believe in being a good person. I haven't always been perfect in relationships. I haven't always been perfect in a lot of my interactions with women. But at the same time, at the core of who I am, I do my absolute best to try to be a good person. And feeling entitled, feeling like I can get any woman I want, feeling like I can get any woman I want in bed, basically, call them an Uber after it's all said and done. What kind of existence is that? Like, it's for me. Now, I can't speak for any other man out there. There's a lot of dudes that can do that and not even blink. But me, I'm not cut from that cloth. But if I would have gone down that trajectory or gone down that path, that rabbit hole of feeling like, okay, if I can get her, I can get anybody, I might not be the person I am today. It's a good thing that I was rejected. That brings up another point. There's a lot of men out here, and this has become more and more of a problem now. In fact, I just watched the video. Shout out to my sister Melanin of Nobody's Guru podcast. If y'all haven't checked out her podcast, please do. She has an excellent podcast. But she had it in her stories. And so it was this dude who was mad because this woman wouldn't give him the time of day. And so I think I don't think he called her a B. He might have called her a B. But he tossed a drink on her. Or threw a drink at her. It's either toss it on her or threw it at her or both. But anyway, like, she looking back like, yo, why you do that? And so she threw a drink in his face. And so he starts trying to fight the girl. I'm like, but bruh, you were the one that was mad because she rejected you. So how you then get mad because she throw a drink in your face? You deserve that because you were entitled in thinking that just because you wanted her, that she was obligated to return that affection, to return that love. She's not obligated, dog. If she ain't feeling you, she ain't feeling you. Take the L. A lot of times these dudes out here, and I never wanted to be this guy, and I learned not to be this guy, but a lot of dudes out here don't know how to take the L. Just because you see a woman on the street and she's pretty, and you holler at her, you catcalling her. First and foremost, that's your first mistake. You catcalling her. That's number one. Number two, you are automatically thinking just because you say hi to her, just because you're kind to her or whatever, and especially when that kindness is not genuine kindness. Women pick up on that. They pick up on that. But even if it's a thing where they recognize the genuine kindness, she's still not obligated to holler at you, dog. She's not obligated. If you're not her cup of tea, you're not her cup of tea. You can't force her to be your cup of tea. But Bama's always be trying to make fetch happen. You know what I'm saying? And that's part of the point of this song. It's like, don't try to make fetch happen, my dude. Okay, she's pretty. That's cool. You know what else is pretty? There's pretty cars out here. But that don't necessarily mean that car is yours. You might not be able to afford it. You might think you even if you are able to afford it, can you afford the maintenance of it? Because, and I'm glad I brought it back to cars. I wasn't even trying to do that. But of course, because there's so much of a car metaphor with this song. Think about that. And that's the importance of the lines, fast forwarding a little bit, besides she might be out for Rodeo. It isn't in your make to be her out for Romeo. The thing about she might be out for Rodeo, she might be the type that's trying to milk you for everything you got. And she knows she can because one, she knows she pretty because she done had dudes telling her she pretty her whole life. The moment she step out the door, she is getting offers for you know what. The moment she step out the door. So you come, you all thirsty, you looking like a mark. And it's like, oh, all right, cool. You want to spend on me? Cool. You going to have to spend it all. You going to have to drop all that money, player. You know what I'm saying? Since you throwing it out there, cool. You going to have to pay to have me on your arm. There are women out there like that look a certain part, that look a certain role. That might not be the girl for you. Do you want to go broke just to have some pretty young thing on your arm or have some pretty thing on your arm? Do you want to have to deal with the headache of dudes always trying to holler at her and in your face? That's the thing about having certain women on your arm. And there's no knock on any woman out there who isn't conventionally beautiful, because personally, I look at beauty a whole lot differently than a lot of people do. You know what I'm saying? But that's another conversation for another day. But let's just frame it in the whole thing of conventional beauty. You get this girl. You gotta deal with the potential of, she could be a gold digger, and it's not a guarantee, but she could be a gold digger. She could be an attention whore. You know, and I don't use the word whore like, you know, to try to make it a thing of disparaging against a woman, because I look at a lot of men like attention whores too. But just for the sake of the conversation, she could be an attention whore. You know, like, all she's about is the likes. All she's about is the followers on Instagram. Like, that's the type of stuff she cares about. She knows she good looking. So when you go out, you're going to always have to deal with the dudes who want to flex and try to be like, hey girl, you know what I'm saying? Like, basically on some lose that chicken dinner, get with a winner type stuff. Like, they look at you like, why she with you? You know what I'm saying? And you can have it going on, but they still feel entitled to her because they feel like, well, she's pretty. I like her. I don't care that you with her. I can get her. I can bag her. I can do A, B, C, and D better than you. That's how they gonna look at it. Do you want that headache? That's the type of maintenance that you gotta deal with. She could be the type of chick that she's like really into fashion. So being really into fashion, what does that boil down to? Money. Who you think gonna be paying for a lot of that stuff? You. And I'm not saying that that's the case in every single situation when you're dealing with a girl who looks a certain way, but in a lot of those situations, there's a pretty girl tax a lot of times. And you got to be a certain type of dude to be able to handle that. And I'll be honest, I am not that guy. And granted, I've had a lot of pretty women in my life. You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of pretty women in my life. My wife is one of the most beautiful women I've ever been with. And that's not just because she's my wife. Let me tell y'all something. I'm a Libra. Y'all know this about me by now. I'm a Libra. Libras love beautiful things. Libras love beautiful people. We ain't with you if we don't feel like you one of the most beautiful things on the face of this planet. And that's no lie. And it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. It matters what we think. If we think you're beautiful, you're beautiful. We ain't gonna be with you otherwise. I'm just keeping it real. Like, look, I tell people all the time, I don't mess with no mud ducks. It's just not my thing. You know what I'm saying? You have to look like a mud duck to me. I don't care what you look like to anybody else. In my eyes, you gotta be a mud duck. I don't mess with no mud ducks. Guys, just keeping it real. But the point is, there's a certain type of pretty that a lot of times gets elevated and catapulted into conventional beauty standards. That's what I'm talking about. And that's the type of beauty that, honestly, that has evaded me, and I'm cool with it evading me. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times, and I'll just be honest, I've had conversations with a lot of these women who look a certain way, who present a certain way, and the conversations be dry as hell. It's like, why do I want to talk to somebody like you anyway? Because you ain't even got no rap, because you can't get past how you look. And I'm having a hard time getting past how you look, because all you have are your looks. Now, granted, I've known a lot of pretty women who have so much more to offer than just their looks, but there's still something missing, because the bottom line is, it's not about how somebody looks, it's about who they are. Now, if you can get a baddie and she got a personality on top of it, hey, you hit the lottery, bruh. You know what I mean? But at the same time, and it kind of goes to the part after the hook comes around the third time, where I say the bottom line is, every girl that looks good ain't a good look for you. She gotta be for you. She gotta be your woman. She can't just be any woman. She can't just look good. She gotta have the whole package. That's the type of dude I am. That's the type of dude I grew into. You couldn't just look a certain way. A lot of the women that I described in the last episode, they are good looking women. Again, a lot of the women that I described, I still know. And they grew and they still fine. You know, in a lot of these cases, they still fine. You know? Now Maria, I haven't seen Maria in 37 years. I have no idea what she looked like. She could be busted. You know what I mean? She could have had any type of fate. The other girl, the twin, who knows what she looks like now? You know, she might not look the same as she did in the 4th grade. You know what I mean? But at the same time, that's none of my business. The bottom line is, it's a good thing that I didn't get those women. Or those girls. Because it could have been a thing where I could have dated them and they weren't that into me, and then they into somebody else, and then I'm all heartbroken because it's like, oh, well, she's not into me because I tried to force her to be into me. You know, if she's not into you, take it as a hint. To my fellas, if she's not feeling you, take it as a hint. Take it as your saving grace. That might be the rejection to keep you from going to jail. I mean, let's just keep it all the way 100. That might be the rejection to keep you from going to jail. Because what if you get with her and she mess around with you? What you gonna do then? She tried to tell you off the break she wasn't into you. You forced the issue. Let her go. Let her be with who she gonna be with. And all y'all dudes that's going around doing that Bama stuff, calling the women bees and all of this nonsense because a woman rejects you, or you even take it a step further, you try to harm a woman, or you, Lord forbid, you take it a step further and try to actually kill a woman. Because there have been plenty of situations where women reject men. And next thing you know, you see these women in the news. They've been killed because a dude couldn't take the rejection. So he decided to take her out. I got a lot of words for that, but I'm trying to, keep this as clean as I possibly can with this platform. All I'm gonna say is that y'all dudes need help. Seriously. Anybody that even thinks about doing something like that to somebody because they rejected you, you need help. Like, seriously. And I ain't even saying that facetiously. Like, no, you seriously need help. There's something up here that's not clicking to make you think that just because a woman doesn't want you, that you need to take her out, or you need to cause her bodily harm, or you even need to cause her psychological harm by calling her out of her name just because she don't want you. I never wanted to be that guy, and that's really bringing it back to what my wife said in the hospital 2014. That is the beauty of rejection. And that's the beauty of being okay with rejection. Because she wasn't for me. Maria wasn't for me. The twin wasn't for me. The other 3 girls that I talked about weren't for me. Any other woman that I thought was so beautiful, but she ain't had no rap for me, they weren't for me. And that's okay. It's okay they weren't for me, because something better was waiting for me. And that's really what it boils down to at the end of the day. You gotta find that person that's feeling you, that you feeling and that's feeling you, that you believe is beautiful in your eyes, and you're beautiful in their eyes as well. It has to be reciprocal at the end of the day. Otherwise, it's gonna be a perpetual chase. And who wants to do a whole bunch of chasing their whole life? Just saying. And I think that's a perfect place to leave it right there. And so I appreciate y'all riding with me for these 3 weeks about Chasing Maria. And if you don't have a single, because I've been talking about it 3 weeks now, this is the 3rd week about it. If you don't have Chasing Maria, which is back with Fashionably Late featuring Clutch the Rapper, please make sure that you go get it. And from the same place where you can get Chasing Maria, back with Fashionably Late, you can also get Batch merch. Granted, I am not wearing a Chasing Maria related shirt today. I didn't want to wear the same shirt 3 weeks in a row. But of course, I had to make sure I wore some Batch gear. So you see me in some Batch gear today. You see the Batch logo right there on the sleeve. Got to do it again. Flex a little bit. Flex a 3rd time. If you don't have some Batch merch, please make sure that you go get it. And you can get it from the same place where you can get the music. BAMMLLC.net. Once again, that is BAMMLLC.net. Get the music, get the merch. You get the music, you can go to your favorite streaming platform. You can buy it directly from our website, or you can go to my Bandcamp page. You can connect to my Bandcamp page from my website. But if you want to go directly there, since Bandcamp seems the most popular place to get the music, ajthrowback.bandcamp.com is the place you can go. Once again, that is ajthrowback.bandcamp.com. braggadocious.com. Definitely appreciate everybody that has been supporting the record so far, people who have been playing the record. I gotta make sure that I shout out my peoples who've been actually spinning the record. Shout out to my man DJ Shane of the Underground Lab for playing it. Also, huge shout out to Air It Out Radio in Philly, showing love. It is currently in their regular rotation 3 times a day. You can hear Chase and Maria on Air It Out Radio in Philly. Definitely shout out to them. Definitely everybody who's been showing love through the streams, through the plays, through the buys. Definitely appreciate y'all. You know what I'm saying? Every bit helps, no matter what the support looks like. Even if it's a comment, even if it's a share, I appreciate all support. Also, if this is your first time, once again, if this is your first time checking out any of my content, don't be ashamed. Just make sure that you are part of the movement from here on out. So that means you gotta like, comment, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Make sure that you hit that bell notification so that whenever I go live, post a new video, premiere a new video, you'll be among the first to know. Please and thank you, of course. And if you're not already following me on social media, you can hit me up on Facebook or Twitter at AJ Throwback. But if you are an Instagram or TikTok person, you can hit me up on those platforms as well. I am at a.j.throwback. So next week, we are going to go to the B-side of the Chase and Maria single, which is Fashionably Late, featuring Clutch the Rapper. I'm going to go into the first verse of that song, so you definitely want to make sure that you check it out. That means you also need to have listened to the single or bought the single so that you'll know what I'm talking about, because I know everybody's so familiar with Chase and Maria, but it's an A-side, B-side single, so definitely gotta make sure that you check out Fashionably Late, which has been getting some love as well. So I definitely want to make sure that I show that some love. I appreciate everybody for your support. So until the next time, I'm your man AJ Throwback, and this has been The Maximum Sentence, with his conviction behind the bars. I want everybody to please enjoy the rest of your week, enjoy your weekend, and I will see y'all right back here next Wednesday. Peace.
Chaser, all I do is chaser. Pedal to the metal, but I can't